Macca's Guides.
Hey guys, Mac here playing Trials Fusion, Squirrels Guide Part 2. Let's just get straight into it. For Squirrel 11 of 20, this one is on Marina at the second checkpoint, which is right here. What you're going to want to do is go down and then take your time, back up, and you'll need to bail over that ledge and then push your character into the bushes behind him. Now, this can be a little bit difficult to do, but once you're in these bushes, you will find your 11th squirrel if you're following along in the same order as the videos. Now, really quick here, I'm going to show you an alternate method, as it is a little bit hard to do this. You can also hook your front wheel over the ledge, do a front flip, and bail out a lot easier into the bushes. You might want to do that if you're having a little bit of trouble. Now, moving on to number 12. This one's on base Invader. This one's not too difficult. A lot of these ones in this second part of the video are a little bit more difficult and will require players to play on harder tracks and also not fault very often. But from the very start of the mission, what we're going to want to do is just proceed until you get to this section of the map. Go up this ramp, bounce off of this, and then trigger the checkpoint below. Now from this checkpoint below, take your time, go down the ramp, launch yourself up, lean forward, and bail out into that chain. Now you are going to need to bail out and grab onto the bottom part of the chain, but if you grab on a little bit higher, you can always drop down and then grab onto the hook again. So once you're onto the hook will start moving and it'll take you towards this conveyor belt. Let go of the little claw and you'll fall onto the conveyor belt, like I said. So once you're on this conveyor belt, it'll take you into this incinerator, and you'll see a squirrel at the top of the screen. It is blocked a little bit by the text though, and you'll see that you'll get your 12th if you're following along. Number 13, this one's on Swamp Crash. From the very beginning, just bump the tree behind you. The tree will fall over. Now make sure you don't fault onto a few checkpoints. Just continue on through the level. And about 20 seconds in, you will find a small river that you need to jump over. I'll show you exactly where that river is. I'm just going to do it in one continuous flow because the checkpoints aren't too far. You're going to come over this log, come up and over this big rock. And now in this checkpoint, there's a raft in the river below. Make sure your character falls onto that raft. It'll make you crash, and then the raft will start moving upriver, and you will find a squirrel down the river a little bit from that location. Number 14, Temple Trouble. This one's going to be a little bit difficult for those who maybe aren't the greatest at the Trials game just yet. It will require you to do this hard track almost completely flawlessly. You actually can't get any faults, and you have to do most of it. Anyways, from the beginning, we're going to need to get a little momentum to hit the switch behind us at the start. Then you'll find your second switch at the top of the ramp in front of you. Now for the third switch, continue on and click it right there. Now from this one, back up, and you will find your fourth switch behind me. Again, if you do fault, you will need to restart the entire mission, so keep that in mind. Practice makes perfect when it comes down to Trials. My fifth switch, I just hit it right there. Up and over onto this ramp. Now up and over again. Just take it nice and slow. Gun it here. Do a front flip to ensure that you make it down enough. Up and over onto this. That's your sixth switch. Now when you hit this switch, you're going to need to roll back, lean forward to get your back wheel up and over, and once you get into this area, you will unveil your 14th squirrel. Again, you'll need to do most of this track without faulting, and if you do fault, you need to start all the way from the beginning. Rocky Road. This one's not too bad, but once we're going up the track, you're going to come to this checkpoint. Just continue on, and you see that big conveyor belt above my head. Get to this checkpoint, and then you're going to need to bail out, go up and fly onto that conveyor belt. Now I missed it a little bit, but you can keep trying and just bail out at the height of your jump and fall onto that conveyor belt. It's not too hard, but once you are sucked into this little area here, there will be a cinematic. I'm going to be fast forwarding it on screen, so you don't need to sit through it. But eventually, the squirrel will get launched into the air, and you will get credit for this one as well. Number 16, this is on Eco Park. Now, this is going to be another one that's going to be a hard track that you will need to be able to do with no faults. Get to this part of the track, and you'll see this cactus right in front of you with glowing colors on it. What you're going to want to do is bail out into it and hold on to the cactus for about 5 to 10 seconds. Now after you do hold on to it, these funky colors will come on your screen and you will be respawned. Now you need to complete the entire track flawlessly to the very end without faulting. If you do fault, you need to restart the entire track, unfortunately, so you want to keep that in mind. Now I'm gonna actually be showing you the entire track. Usually I wouldn't, but I want to show you the entire track because it is on the more difficult end, and I'm showing you a conservative method to get all the way to the end. You want to basically try to do exactly as I'm doing on screen, as these are the most repeatable options to complete this level. So yeah, practice makes perfect again. Trials is a game of complete practice. I've been playing this game for over 200 hours, which is why I'm pretty good at it. But eventually, once you're able to zero fault this track with the funky colors and all the crazy stuff happening on screen, you will unlock a squirrel. This was my 20th squirrel, which would allow me to unlock my achievement. But we're going to continue on for those of you who don't have them. Cold storage from the very beginning of the map. Up and over this, take your time, go off this ramp and shoot yourself up and onto that chain. Grab onto it. You can grab onto it anywhere at the very tip all the way up to the top, and it'll pick you up to bring you up to these squirrels, and those will trigger. Cave Dweller. This one's going to be fast paced, but right off the very beginning of the map, you need to jump forward onto the pipe in front of you, let the elevator pass below you, and then back up. Here's a second shot of it. Up onto that pipe, back down, on top of the elevator we spawned in, back up into this area to find the squirrel. Number 19, Covert Ops. This one's pretty simple. You're just going to need to get to the very end of the level, and once you do that, as you see me here, just take your time. You can fault as many times as you like. Once you fall into this pit, just wait about 5 to 10 seconds, and the squirrel will appear on your screen as following here, and that should be number 19 if you're following along. Now the last one, Jungle Gymkhana. This one might be difficult for some people, but I'll show you exactly what's going on. From the start of the mission, what we're going to need to do is get to these totems. Now these totems rotate, and you'll see how to solve the totem on the right hand side of the screen. Now for the first totem, you need to focus on the top row, which is red-blue, and now this second totem right here, you need to focus on green-red, which is the middle one. As you see, the top tier is not rotating, and to get it to stop rotating, you need to get your bike to go onto the obstacle in front of you. Now you can fault as many times as you want, but the only way to lock in a totem the way it was is to get to the next checkpoint. So if you have to go back to a checkpoint because you fault, you're going to want to make sure that you leave that checkpoint at the proper puzzle piece. Now this is the last one, and as you see, when that final piece at the bottom rotates into the proper location, the totem will lock and it will not move anymore. Also, it'll make a noise on your screen to let you know that you did it properly. Again, you're going to be rotating it from top to bottom, and you're going to need to make sure they lock in the right places. Now after you get all three of those and you get the sound and everything, you're going to want to finish the level, go into this teleporter. Now once we're in this teleporter, you're going to want to wait about 5 to 10 seconds, and the squirrel will come up on this screen. And that should be it, guys. That should be your achievement. Thanks for watching. As always, a comment helps me out. Liking the video is super helpful for me as well. If you like my videos, feel free to subscribe. This is the kind of stuff I make on a regular basis. Hopefully, I see you in my next video. As always, guys, see you next time. Peace. Thanks for sticking around.